The unfortunate first thing I wanted to mention, and we didn't mention it last episode because I heard the news really after we recorded. We recorded that episode a few days in advance, was that John Bartolo has passed away. And he was a guest just recently. He was on episode 115, if you guys want to revisit that. And we were actually supposed to go on his show. He set up a date with me. We probably would have been going on this week, and unfortunately that won't be happening. It'll never be happening. And the thing is, I was thinking about this morning, just reflecting on the show that we do, and why I love interviewing these guys is because even though neither of us knew John, personally or anything like that, the hour that we get out of guys when it's a solid interview, and it was a really solid interview with him. I think we went like an hour and a half. I learned a lot about the guy, and I don't know about you, the thing that always stuck out to me was just his humor. He was a funny guy.
Yeah, guys like that, they and you can tell they live hard, and they live by the seat of their pants and daily, and sometimes the light just burns out, and I've seen it happen with so many guys that I've worked with, and John, not he was a contractor military or anything, but sometimes it's just that personality that you live hard and you live fast, and that takes a toll on your body sometimes, and we don't know. Again, we're still figuring out.
I mean, to be fair, we have no idea what happened.
Just normal wear and tear on your body with living hard and fast, the stressors that it causes, and I can attest to that. Just living a normal hard life, live hard, work hard, play hard. It wears you out, but that also leads to a fulfilling life. So not on the negative side, it leads to a life where you can look back and you make it down the road to your 80 and look back and like, man, that was freaking awesome. I fucking lived a great life. And even though I had massive ups and downs, it was better than just living a flat line where I'm just living vanilla. I call it living vanilla. So just for having that hour, you can tell he lived that roller coaster ride. And he loved living that roller coaster ride. Just by that hour that we got to him, he enjoyed it. And that's how he wanted to live. And God bless him and his soul into heaven, but also God bless his family. And he left a little one behind, which is sad. That is sad. And seen that happen before, where Tyrone left, for example, had just had a baby boy when he passed away. And but I hope people tell his son good stories about his father, so he has good memories and know that his father did lived his life how he wanted to live. And that says a lot right there. That just says a lot for character, is that he lived his life by his own path, and that's what he wanted to do. And that's a great thing to have that intestinal fortitude to do that.
Yeah, I have a statement, by his good friend Tony Sentiman, and I don't know if it's saying his last name right. I'll read, but I just also want to reflect on the thing that I remember most from that interview. Beyond just like what he did in the firearms community and all that, the thing that made me laugh the most was, and you would know better than me, you know guns. What was the gun that he kept holding? The small pistol.
The small pistol where he kept making fun of how we were going to readjust every sheet.
Yeah, what was the gun though? Do you remember?
I don't remember. I'd have to listen.
He kept pulling it out. That's the thing. That's why it would be great if we had video, because he kept pulling it out. And I'll pull a clip. I'll edit it into the show. But where he kept saying, yeah, like we moved to a 1/4-inch, game changer, and he kept doing it.
Chris, you've been around this game a long time. The AR-15 technology has not changed.
It's not changed an inch. Nothing.
You walk around this industry and everybody's like, look at this rail. It's the latest. Chris, you have no idea. This rail is going to take you home tonight and buy you dinner. And you're like, oh, fuck, great. I get it. They're engineers, and that's their baby. We totally get it. Yep. But at the same time, you have to understand, for me to market this as your baby and for me to make you king shit in the industry, I have to take this and I have to make it sexy to my audience and to everybody around me. And to do that, it's going to cost X. And they're like, whoa, wait, oh.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, what do you want to do here?
It truly made me laugh because you could tell he had a passion for what he did, and he had like a low tolerance for bullshit.
Yeah, that's another thing, is as somebody that's like that, but still has the respect to. And he had ultimate respect for veterans. He did. And that was that.
He did, but at the same time, he had no problem saying on the show, and I respected him for this because of the fact that, like, I think someone would go on with you and be like, I have to fit this narrative of what people are going to like. And he had no problem saying, if you remember during that show, he was like, I kind of wish there were more civilians out there talking about the Second Amendment, because he was like, for you guys who are special operations, military veterans, like you guys are always carrying what you want in combat. That's the same for every country. He's like, that doesn't he kept saying, he was like, that's not what the Second Amendment is about. He's like, we need more civilians out there talking about the Second Amendment.
The gun industry, and it's no disrespect, is not representative of the tip of the spear. If the Second Amendment went away tomorrow, Navy SEALs would still have guns. If the Second Amendment went away tomorrow, Marines would still have guns. Why nationally does Tucker Carlson and anybody else continue to say, we have a great spokesperson for the Second Amendment? It's, door gunner so-and-so. I'm not sure what that means. And I do get upset when I start to see representations like that, because we're a better and more of an industry, more robust industry than Hickok 45 taking shots down the range. There's more to it than that. And I think that we don't do a good job capturing that story. A lot of these FFLs, as you know, Chris, they're family-owned businesses. They're struggling to get by. They're constantly getting guns pulled from their list, stuff taken away from them to sell, and they're getting eaten up by the online. But we need those FFLs. Without those FFLs, we can't transfer guns. And that's eventually what they want to come after, that and taxing the ammo, which the ammo debate is a whole nother thing.
And he had no problem saying that. He wasn't like, oh, I'm worried I'm going to offend Tom.
Well, I don't know why that would never offend me. I think more people, if it does offend somebody that's in the military community, you need to check your fucking ego out there, man, because there's nothing to offend there. The more people you have, whether they are law enforcement veteran, or whether they're military, whether they're former military veterans, of course. But the more people you have that understand the Second Amendment, understand the importance of it, and understand the true value of firearms, really. And there's a value to it. I've saved lives with firearms. I've seen lives taken with firearms. So I've seen both sides of the house. But there is a definite value to having them. And being an instructor, seeing somebody come out to learn how to shoot a gun and never shot before, and then seeing them leave the range with a massive amount of confidence just in themselves because they conquered a fear. That says right there for the value of the Second Amendment and firearms. And the more people that we have that back the Second Amendment, the less likely we are ever to have politicians tear it out of our Constitution. And that's important. So you have to have everybody. Civilians are the most important because there's so many more just civilians out there than there are veterans and law enforcement and so forth. There are, and that's who's going to save the Second Amendment for years and years and years to come. Not the military, not the law enforcement, because we're going to carry regardless. That's our job.
Yeah,
it's somebody.
Yeah, and that was his point.
Yeah, that's the civilian world and civilians and their importance of backing the Second Amendment and learning how to safely and effectively and efficiently handle firearms is what's going to keep the Second Amendment alive and well for years and years to come. And that's why I admire that. I don't think John would think he would offend me, but if he thought he would and he said it anyway, well, kudos to John's spirit up there for doing that. Okay, but it would never.
Yeah, I think that was just him. I think I could tell he was a true, and I say it with affinity, like a masshole. he was a Boston guy, and he kind of told it how he is. He had that personality. And that's actually why I want to read the statement from at @realworlds_tactical Tony Sentimanet, his good friend, because I thought what he said could speak way more volumes than what you or I say, because this was a great friend of his. So he wrote, I honestly don't know what to write. I just lost my best friend and brother. I am broken inside, and I write this caption in tears as I've been since last night, still in disbelief. John Bartolo was the most blunt, abrasive human to walk the earth, but he was the most genuine, authentic, and giving friend you could ever have. And without John Bartolo, there would be no Real World Tactical. He left a 2-month-old baby boy by the name of TJ that will never know his father, only through videos and podcasts, and it breaks my heart. I always preach that tomorrow isn't guaranteed, that each day is a gift, and this tragedy really solidified it. I FaceTimed with John 15 minutes before he passed, so I was at least able to see him one last time. I heard what he would tell me every time we talked, almost every day for the last time. Call me later when you're done. I'll be around. I'm making this post so that his family and his son can read this and know that John was loved, respected, honored by many, and will leave a legacy that he built with the John Bartolo Show. That his son will know that the last name he carries is a name that many hold to the highest standard as a true leader and the hardest worker in the fucking room. I will see you soon, my brother. I will make sure your son will know who you are, and he will never be in need of anything in this fucking life as long as I'm alive. I love you. Rest in peace. So, I mean, that kind of says it all.
Yeah. Bro, on my side of the house, too many times I've heard something like that written by a friend who's lost a best friend. I can count it all on both hands, multiply it by 3. And it's sad to keep hearing stuff like that. For me, I almost become desensitized to a lot of it. To be honest with you, I do. I was like, oh, shit, I heard another one. Are you kidding me? But, that being said, it's nice to have somebody out there that cares for another person like that, because they can pass on and I don't say legacy, just pass on the memory of that person who passed. And like I said, he can say it a lot more better. Is that a good English? A lot better.
You and I are both struggling with language.
I think I watched Zoolander this morning, guys. People that don't read too much, but people, people out there that can explain and express how that person that passed explain their life and what their lives meant to them to help them become better as well. So, but it's hard. It is for a person like myself, and there are a lot of guys out there, a lot of men and women out there that have lost a lot of friends, and not just in combat, just every day, just stuff that just happens, and
well, the past 2 years too. I don't know if you realize, like, we're celebrating. It's 2 years since the initial lockdowns, and in these past 2 years, we've lost a ton of people.
Right.
I know a guy who's a listener of the show, who's a friend of mine, like, lost 2 family members to COVID. It's been a crazy 2 years for a lot of people.
Yeah, it's just that's life. That's how it is. So you live it. Yeah, live it to the fullest. But keep in mind, live it with virtue and live it with some morality too. When I say live it to the fullest, I remember when I was younger and somebody said that, it was, okay, go do everything. And no, that's not what I'm saying. But when you're young and you're dumb and you're full of cum, sort of thing, that's what you used to say all the time. You're going to live. You're going to live young, and you're going to live dumb, and you're going to learn. But that's how you learn. But you're always going to have this old hat guy like myself telling you, hey, be careful what you're doing. Just like the old guys used to tell me that I never listened to, and I had to figure out for myself. But that's life. But it still is better than just sitting in your room scared. Don't do that. Get out there and experience everything. Then you know what you like, and you know what you don't like. And then you can have that abrasive attitude down the line, because you have wisdom, and you've been burned, and you've also succeeded. So you know that, and you like we always say in the military, and you've heard it with a lot of veterans, you don't know unless you know. Well, that's why we say it. You don't have a clue unless you've been through it. And if you haven't been through it, then don't say a word, because you don't know unless you know. That's the same thing. And I think with John's life, and this is purely skeptical. I don't know. I mean, we knew John from the show, but just talking to him, I think John experienced a lot of failure, but he also learned from those failures and experienced a lot of success. But that's where he gained his confidence, and he gained his abrasiveness, you could say. But that abrasiveness is a form of confidence, because if you're not confident in yourself, you're not going to be able to say what you want to say unless you are massively insecure, which I don't think John was insecure by any means at all.
No, I didn't get that impression.
But anyway, there's my soapbox thing right there. That's it. I'm done.
Yeah. Rest in peace to John Bartolo. And once again, if you guys want to listen back to that episode, that was 115, go back and revisit it and remember him. And I'll put this
up a lot of laughs.
on our YouTube
episode.
as well.
We laughed a lot during that.
It was fun. Yeah, there was a lot of laughs. And there's a lot of genuine laughs. There's certain episodes where you don't have it. He was a genuinely funny guy. He was.